We know you love us, but the information on our podcast is provided for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional advice of any kind. If you or anyone you know needs professional help, please seek mental health services. Welcome to the Date Podcast, the show for anyone navigating the dating and relationship world. We interview celebrities, talk pop news, discuss dating do's and don'ts, and debate relationship topics. We are available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe and review if you like what you hear. Check out our website, datepodcast.com, for more information. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now, let's get on with the show.
It's Emma.
It's Zorric,
host of the Date Podcast. And we have an exciting show for you guys today because the holidays are coming up. So we had to bring someone that can talk about holiday stuff with us.
Like, for example?
We have someone that I know very well, Lilliesha Grandberry, with us.
Lilliesha Grandberry.
Yes.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
We're excited to hear what she thinks about different dating topics on maybe the holidays, maybe just dating in general.
Yes.
And Emma, I have a question for you.
Oh no, what?
Why do golfers bring around 2 pairs of pants?
Because of splits?
No,
because a hole in one?
Yes, just in case they get a hole in one. Get it?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I knew that was, it was going to be something stupid, but I just couldn't figure out, what.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so Emma is going to talk about some things, and then we'll talk about Lilliesha's background and story and what she does. And she's going to give us some insight on how to date, I think.
I hope so.
I think so.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Because, we'll talk about it and how this came about.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you guys want me to start with the funny stuff, the annoying stuff, or the stuff?
You choose.
Let's do the funny stuff.
Okay. So one of our favorites. One of our favorites, Will Ferrell, is going to be hosting Saturday Night Live in November.
We love Will Ferrell. I think he is the best physical actor.
Yes.
And comedian.
Yes.
Well, Chris Farley
except for in The Office. In The Office, his purpose was to have you hate him when he came to replace Steve Carell for that little bit. His job was to make you hate him, and he did a really good job. Because I remember being so mad at him for a few months afterwards that I could not watch any of his movies because I was so mad at him for replacing Steve Carell, and then doing a really bad job.
I can't wait.
Same thing with Idris Elba. He was so mean, and I can't sometimes I can't forgive him. Sometimes I look at him and I'm like, you were mean to him. You were mean to Steve Carell.
No, you have to forgive Idris.
He
gets a pass.
Well,
when he talks in that British accent, then yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Automatic pass.
Okay, so he's hosting SNL, and he's actually going to be joining the 5 Timers Club, which basically means that he has hosted the show 5 times. And I'm really excited to see what he's going to do.
Who else is in the 5 Timers Club? I think probably
Melissa McCarthy is actually on it, which really surprises me because I remember the first time that she hosted. And it hasn't been that long ago, but she's been back and she's been really good too. She's also really good comedian actress, I feel.
Not Jenny McCarthy, Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy. They're actually
sister.
cousins.
Oh, cousin.
They're cousins or second cousins or something. Yeah. But they're related. Dwayne Johnson.
Okay.
The Rock.
The Rock. Not one of my favorites, but Scarlett Johansson also is part of that.
She's so hot. Go ahead.
And actually, Alec Baldwin so far holds the record. Guess how many times he has hosted SNL?
10. See? 10.
It's more than that.
14.
A little bit higher.
What?
17.
Yep.
Wow.
17 times.
That's a lot.
That's what this is reporting to
But
me.
is Alec Baldwin, is he that superstar of an actor?
No, but he lives really close to the SNL studio, and I
does.
think he's friends with Lorne Michaels.
Yeah.
So I think that's what really helps him.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Yep.
And, because he did 30 Rock with Tina Fey, and they're all best friends. So, okay. And so we're actually recording on November 12th, and I say this because today was the very, eagerly awaited day for Disney Plus. Okay?
It was all over TV.
I yelled at my sister because we still don't have it, and she's in charge of paying for it because I pay for everything else. And I'm kind of happy that she didn't get it because apparently there's been a lot of glitches and error messages.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's par for the course for any new service.
but
right?
I would think that Disney would get it together.
No, so I'm in IT obviously, and us IT guys, we jack crap up all the time. Just like Amazon goes down, your internet goes down. It's a human that broke something, and so it's never perfect. But I am really interested to see what shows they're gonna have on that because apparently Marvel is going there, so all the Marvel stuff. So I can't wait to see that.
Yes. And then the people that were able to stream from it were kind of showing typos in the movies and just kind of errors that were
It shows
happening.
they kind of rushed it then, right? If there's all these errors.
But they've been talking about it for a while though.
I think it takes a lot to get something really launched out and perfected. Netflix has been out there for 10 years?
A long
A
time.
long time ago. The first ones.
I remember when you got the DVDs in the mail.
So, and plus they're not a tech company per se.
I don't know. It's Disney. I have higher expectations for Disney because they're Disney. So I'm
gonna
gonna
wait.
hold them. I am too. And now I'm glad that my sister waited. But I am holding him at a higher standard than I would NBC. Actually, no. I'd probably hold
No.
NBC at the same standard. I'm trying to think of who I would hold at a lesser standard.
Probably like a cable channel.
Yeah. But even Bravo gets it
Bravo,
together. Bravo has it together. Come on, And the fact that they're working with Hulu, you would think that with the Hulu intelligence that they have, they would use that to their advantage.
But I think it's okay because people have such a short attention span and they're not going to remember this.
Right.
I'm not. As long as they have good content in a year from now, I don't give a crap.
That's true. Although I'm still gonna I'm always gonna hold on to Game of Thrones. That is just
So next year,
remembering.
I'm going to be on air and ask you, Emma, do you remember when Disney didn't launch well? And you're going to be what?
yeah.
What
I'm gonna
happened?
forget.
I
But
don't
if you ask
know.
me about Game of Thrones, I'm gonna be like, yes, I still remember, and
We're
I still
not-
cry
we're
about it every
deflecting.
night.
We're not talking about that. So go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. She talks about Game of Thrones every episode, and that's
Okay.
why we just cannot talk about it because it consumes the whole episode, and she just gets on a tangent.
She can't stop.
Keep going.
And I
Okay.
keep crying.
Hey.
I cried so many days at work. Where I don't know if you were there in the office when I'd start crying. Somebody would
No.
mention it, and I was just I can't talk about it, so I'm gonna just cry about it.
You know how to fix that? There's a way to do that. It's like a therapeutic thing. Think of Jason Momoa. Nice dinner. You guys out.
He's married though.
Night on
We
the
need to think
town.
about somebody that's single
And,
and attainable.
He's walking towards you. He says, "Hey Emma, pull on my hair."
Okay.
Anyways,
That
back
would
to news.
really be my reaction.
Okay.
Okay. So Patton Oswalt opened up about, excuse me, his first wife dying unexpectedly in 2016. And so he actually remarried in November of 2017 and had a daughter with his first wife. And so, she was young at that point, or the child was, young, and now she's 10. So she's grown up a bit. And so he talks about how difficult it was for his daughter to adjust to having a stepmom. Especially when, this child, when she was so young, had all these memories of mom kind of doing everything for her because she was so young. And then when he remarried, she's older. And stepmom's kind of like, you know, there's stuff that we have to do. And so, you know, they're trying to come at it from like a united front, and she's resistant, and she's like, why do I have to do these things? And, you know, of course he's like, it's because you're 10 years old and it's time for responsibilities. So he, you know, he talks about the difficulty of, you know, like bringing, you know, like bringing someone to like meet your daughter, and then like getting married, and at the same time like having this guilty mindset of that even though like his daughter is 10, he still wants to treat her like that 3-year-old. You know, especially because that's probably, you know, that's around the time that, you know, she lost her mom. Yeah. Or, you know, started losing her mom. And so, I just thought it was a nice story. It was nice in the story of the sense that I feel like a lot of parents can relate to that, especially parents who are divorced and have younger kids, of like the difficulty that it is to like have one family unit, break that family unit apart, or have that family unit be broken apart, and then like having to create a whole new family unit, and like the feelings of resentment and guilt that the child or the parent may experience.
Blended families are hard. That's hard. Step parents taking on that responsibility, that's tough.
For sure.
Then you add grief in it with them too. That's hard.
Yeah.
You know who are great step parents? What is that movie? Was it Step Brothers with Will Ferrell?
Yes, and John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly. It's so funny.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, that's a great one. Anyways, that's all I know about.
Did we just become best friends?
Like sleeping in small bedrooms, or like 50 years old.
We have so much room for activities. I love it. Okay, let's move on to like my story to prove that love will always find a way.
Let's hear it.
And maybe not for me, but at least it did for these folks. So these high school sweethearts got married after being 63 years apart.
Whoa.
Yep.
63. So then they're probably at least 64. Or above.
No,
Or
idiot.
I mean,
they're 80.
I mean, you never know. I mean, define apart. Were they like their parents' friends, and all of a sudden they knew each other for a second, and then they...
I want to picture that they're across the country from each other, and then they reunited.
They're running like a scene. They're like running
In
toward
slow
each
motion.
other. Slow motion, and they just...
Tell me that's what happened.
I had it, and then I forgot.
Great job. But you see how it is. Like, we romanticize everything.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
So what happened is that so the guy's name, the last name is Harvey. So Harvey like had cancer, had blood cancer, and so he went through like intense chemotherapy. And then during this process, he was granted like a 3-week treatment break by his doctor. So then he went on a road trip. So he was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try not to cry. He's like, I had to pull off the freeway and just sit on the side of the road and just cry because it made me think of you when listening to this like this song, this 50s song, and his 50s music. And so at that point, that's when he was like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to track her down. So he returned home, searched her name on Google, and then found her deceased husband's obituary.
Wow.
And then you guys, this is so beautiful. He wrote her a letter.
Who writes nowadays too? I mean, jeez.
I love writing thank you notes, and I love snail mail. So then he like sent her a letter, and then of course like she was like super excited about it. And then she had also been trying to find him.
Oh.
And so she's like, I just didn't know where he was. So the moment that she received the letter, she like called the number he had written on the car, and then she had to leave a voicemail, I think. And then she got a phone call the next evening from him, and then he told her that he was ready and willing to visit her the very next day. So now then they got married. And now they're together.
Listen, I want that type of energy.
Yeah.
Me
Come
too.
find me.
Exactly. Come find me. Write me a letter.
Yes.
But like not a creepy letter, but just like romantic and like perfect enough.
Don't tell me you Googled me and found me in an obituary. That's weird.
That is so weird.
But these are like, are they boomers? They're boomers,
Yeah,
right?
if they're
Yeah.
of age, yeah.
So, I mean, it's the Google for them.
Have you guys seen that show Modern Love on Netflix?
No.
You guys should watch that. It's like these stories that people write in like that to the New York Times, and they made it into like an actual like series. So they take everyone's short stories.
Oh.
It's really good. You guys should watch it. It's on Amazon Prime.
Who's in it?
Like B-list actors,
Oh,
but it's a really good story. The stories are like amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there's one about a guy who started a dating app and, lost the love of his life and all that.
Was that about you?
I thought it was, but it was not.
Oh.
He was way more taller and good looking than I. So, I mean, obviously. Maybe it's just the actor.
Maybe.
Yeah. What
Maybe
else?
I secretly wrote in your story.
You did? Did you freaking sabotage me?
I haven't gotten paid for that yet, though. I need to get paid for it.
I want half of that. The royalties.
I'm sorry, what?
What else do you have?
I did not use your likeness. I mean, I did, but I didn't. That's all I have.
Okay.
That's all I got.
So I'm going to ask Lilliesha some questions.
Oh.
Okay.
Be
Just
prepared.
a quick one.
Sure.
So we just need your input on what to do. Like these people are from online and they have questions that they need answered. And we'll start with an easy one.
Okay.
But this is about you though. And the person just wrote, "Do you have an ex you would take back in a heartbeat?"
That you would take back?
Take back in a heartbeat.
Oh.
Because while you think, I'm trying to get into the writer's head, like maybe she's contemplating, or he,
Or he.
Maybe he's listening.
Oh, maybe he's listening or will listen, and this person's contemplating. Maybe I should get back with this person. Do you have one? And if not, would you do it or would you not do it?
Okay. So I would say 99.9% of them, absolutely not. I would not take them back.
But
So there's
why?
a 0.1%?
Yeah.
Oh.
From high school.
Oh. Is that what do you want him to write you a letter?
I think some circumstances would have to change, probably.
On his end or your end? Oh.
But, when we're 60, who knows?
So would you run to him like in the wind, your hair flowing?
Yes.
Yeah, like
Yes.
slow motion.
Yes.
So what happened there? Was there something that just is that the one that got away for you?
I was probably the one that got away.
You were the one that got away.
Yeah.
Oh.
When you're young and you're in high school and you think it's going to last forever, and then distance separates you, and then you try again, and then it just doesn't work, and your timing is off. I would say he was one that we ended on a good note, though. It wasn't, contentious. It was
So you guys are
amicable.
not Facebook friends or Instagram friends or anything?
No.
With a grin. With a grin.
We're not.
Like on purpose?
Yes. Boundaries. Boundaries are important. And when people move on and their lives change and they get into other situations, you respect those boundaries. I think that's important.
That is very important.
By
I
changes
respect-
in circumstances. Like, what are you referring to?
If we were both single at the same time, sure.
Oh, so he's not.
No. His loss. But that's okay.
Yeah, that is his loss, definitely.
That's his loss. But I would say still to this day, we're friends.
Okay.
We're still friends.
Just not Facebook friends
No.
or Instagram friends.
No.
On purpose.
Yes.
Church friends.
No. He's like across, like that whole across the country thing, like literally.
Yeah,
It's
gotcha.
So I would say that would be the only one. All the others, no.
So, but this is ambiguous. So, is it a good idea to get back with an ex? Because it ended for a reason.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
Why did it end?
Right.
And I would think that if you're going to go back to it, you have this expectation that something's going to be different. And is that realistic? To
Right.
expect that or to hope that their characters should still be the same. I would expect. I would hope they're still the same person.
If it's 64 years old, 64 years later, maybe they changed, maybe they didn't. I hope you evolve, or some people
Right.
evolve.
And do you hope that, that in 64 years, like certain life situations have created you to maybe think differently or to sort of cope with situations differently.
Or But does their core change? Does their core values change? Does that core person, is that still there? I mean, when I'm 80, maybe I won't care.
Maybe.
If you don't text me back, you know, maybe I won't care when I'm 80.
Well, I mean, if you're 80, like, are you even texting at that point?
Are you just like watching TV, sitting
Like,
like
what are we
in
doing?
silence?
Right.
Yeah.
Is
I
this
don't know. Aren't
companionship?
they
What are
like
we-
all these seniors like having like just a bunch of sex in the senior home?
But is there sex at 80 years old? I hope so.
I think so.
Probably.
Is there sex in heaven? I hope so too.
Whomever your higher power is, that.
I don't know. Okay. So I guess what's the answer? So there's so much more information we need, I guess, from this question, right? There's no
Yes.
context. There's nothing.
I would think, look at why are you an ex?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Yeah. Do you think there's more sex in heaven or hell?
Oh my gosh.
What's the next question?
Okay.
You see what I put up with every week?
I do.
As she's taking like a drink of
Yeah.
her wine.
Emma, do you mind refilling, please? Oh.
Oh, no, I don't.
First of all, Lilliesha, are you single?
I am very single.
Single and ready to mingle.
Shout
Okay.
out to my future husband.
Oh, so are you on dating apps or anything like that?
As of yesterday,
Okay.
yes.
So here's a question. So often guys that will like one of my pics won't include a message. So they'll just like the message. They'll like your photo and they won't include a
I'm
message.
assuming they're probably on Hinge.
Probably. Or OkCupid are the other ones. I never know if I should bother trying to strike up a conversation or not. Is this just a friendly, hey, nice pic, but I'm not interested enough to talk to you situation? I've tried to start a conversation on a couple of occasions, but they always feel one-sided and fizzle very, very quickly. I find this annoying. Any thoughts on this, Lilliesha?
That is my pet peeve. If you cannot initiate a conversation, especially one outside of 3 letters, don't WYD me.
Like, hey, what are you doing?
Yes, don't do that.
Okay, so in my defense, okay,
Are you the WYD?
there,
girl?
no, gosh, no. But I will like scroll, and if and sometimes I won't read the stuff because I'm just too busy like looking at the picture. And if the picture captures my attention, I'm gonna send the like.
Right.
But but then I'm like, oh, I should have read the profile. My bad. But they're pretty, so of course I'm gonna like the picture.
But do you expect a response? Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if a guy is liking my pics, I'm like, thanks. But I'm not gonna expect a conversation because I want him to. If you're interested in having a conversation, then I need you to like the pic and say, hey, how's it going?
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like you look cute, but not. Yeah.
Right.
I know it's cold in here, guys. So I'm joking. It's like you look cute, but not cute enough for me to talk to you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But I think also some guys are just lazy. I think they don't know what to say. I think maybe they're just new to the game.
Yes, and I'm
Yeah.
also being lazy when I'm just swiping at the picture because, like I've said, I'm not reading the profile. I'm just looking with my eyes
You're like, oh, that was cute. Like,
and just doing my due diligence of spending 5 minutes a day
swiping.
because that's
liking.
all I'm allowing myself right now.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. No, I wouldn't put too much stock in it.
No? Okay. I have one more question. It's kind of, it's sort of a relationship question, right? So here we go, Lilliesha, last one. I've been seeing a guy for about 2 months. We've been sexually exclusive for about a month. And we've been consistently going on dates, hanging out 2 to 4 times a week since we met. But both of us just got out of long-term relationships around the same time, but it's a long question. But anyways, the point here is they've been dating for 3 months, exclusively having sex, and she finds out that he has not deleted his Bumble profile. It's still there. Is that okay? So if you're exclusive with a guy, is it okay for him to keep his profile up for 3 months?
So here's the thing. Exclusively having sex or exclusively in a relationship?
Right.
2 different things. If we're just having sex with just each other, but we're not in a relationship and we're just casually dating, keep your profile because I still have mine. But if we are exclusive in a relationship, only sleeping with one another, what are we doing on Bumble still?
Yeah, so on that point, to clarify, they are not boyfriend, girlfriend. they're just having sex just with each other, and that's it.
Then I would not say you're exclusive. You're just like you say, they're just exclusive sexually.
Yeah.
So that conversation of like what that what that commitment means has not been technically had.
Right.
So, do you think there's a problem there because it's like 3 months having sex exclusively? Do you think it's time for them to be boyfriend, girlfriend, or does it depend on the person? I mean,
I think they need to have a conversation about that, because to say we're going to be exclusively having sex, but we're not good enough to be exclusively dating or in a relationship with one. Like, we need to talk about that. What does all this mean?
yeah.
I think it causes mixed feelings and mixed emotions.
I think so too. I think she, just for her writing these questions, and it's a long question, I think she's more invested and wants more than he does, and she's asking for help and advice.
She needs to see a therapist.
A therapist, obviously.
They need to communicate,
Definitely.
set boundaries.
That too.
Okay, so that's what would they
Did
podcast
it say if
would-
her profile's deleted? Sorry.
She was deleting it, in the process of deleting it, and she saw him pop up.
Oh.
Yeah. So
That's funny.
that is funny.
Because they unmatched. I don't know.
Oh, if he popped up, that means they.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
Okay.
swipe on him.
Swipe right or
Yeah.
swipe left?
Swipe right.
just to see. Just to see. Okay, so Emma, we have a guest today.
Yes,
How
we
How
do.
do you know her? Tell us.
Are we allowed to, am I able to share that?
Well, generically, just you can be generic.
In
about it.
general.
Yeah.
We are.
LeBear.
Yes. We work at La Bear together. How did you
Cocktail
know?
I'm the
waitresses.
manager.
Yes. And I am a cocktail waitress. Thank you. For all the other women out there? No.
We work together.
We are coworkers.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are co-workers. I didn't know that.
You didn't know?
Mm-mm. You guys went to anything else? Okay, just co-workers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coworkers.
You guys went to the bar together, or I don't know.
This is our first time hanging out outside of work.
Yes,
Was
it
it?
is. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then so Lilliesha, what do you do?
So I'm a counselor. I'm
Counselor.
a mental health counselor.
Okay, and so as a kid, were you the shoulder that everyone's leaning on? I mean, advice and all that. I mean,
I was the sensitive kid. I cried at Lifetime movies with my
I still do
grandma.
that.
I can't watch Lifetime anymore.
No.
I cry at Hallmark movies though. I was that sensitive kid, and I was like, I'm gonna be a psychologist when I grow up.
but when in life? Because a lot of us, even men, especially later in life, we just figure it out. But women or yourself, like, when did you figure that out?
Probably like 6th grade when we
6th
did those
grade.
little career profiles, and you answer all those questions about what you should be when you grow up. And mine was like a helping professional, social worker, psychologist, counselor, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna do that.
So when you were in high school, were you like the dater? Were you into guys at that point, or were you just still focused on school and all that?
I was into guys, but I was into relationships.
Ooh.
So yeah, I was like serious before my time. So when most guys are probably like, I'll date you for 2 months, and I'm like, no, we're gonna be together.
Yeah.
If we're together, we're together. I was like serious.
Where did that come from?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Were other like girlfriends or like guy friends also doing the same, like this sort of like long-term monogamy, or were they just kind of like, let's date for 2 months and move on to the next person?
Probably half of my friends were, and one of my
Okay.
friends, we're not really friends anymore, but a girl that I knew, who we were friends at that time, she like married her high school sweetheart.
Oh.
So like we dated our high
Are they
school-
still together?
They are still together.
Interesting.
Yeah, she's like early 30s. They're still together.
So you dated your high school sweetheart.
I dated him about 3 out of my 4 years of high school.
And then why did you guys break up?
Distance. Yeah, he was an athlete. And that's hard.
That's typically what happens when you're in high school. I mean, I
Right.
think, and plus you want different things. You have different career paths, right?
You're young. You're not ready for love.
You're not, because you're growing as a person. You're figuring out who you are. It's definitely a time for exploration.
Yes. And I wish I would have had someone tell me that. That don't put too much stock in this. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Go date.
Yeah.
Go get to know who you are. So I moved. I moved from Michigan to Nevada, and I went to my first year of college out there, and he stayed in Michigan. He was a couple years older, but I was like, I'm leaving. I'm going to go spread my wings.
What was in Nevada?
UNLV in Vegas.
Oh, did you like Vegas?
I did, but I was 18, and you can't do anything at 18.
Oh,
no one
my
told me
gosh.
that. When I went to the college and paid, no one told me that you can't be on the casino floor after a certain time, that you have curfews when you're 18. And
Oh, really?
They like
I've
card
also
you and
never
kick you
been
off.
either. Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, why am I here if I can't do anything?
I want to see if they'll card me and kick me off. I want to see if I still look like I'm an 18-year-old.
Wait, did you say you'd never?
I've never been to Vegas.
We're going. We're going in a month.
You're going to take me, right?
Yeah. I'll
okay,
take you.
good.
Yeah.
It was fun.
We'll go a weekend. We'll bring everybody here.
Okay.
So did you date in Vegas, and how was that? If you did.
I did not date in Vegas. So
Smart girl.
I was what, 18? It was my freshman year, because I only stayed there for a year, and then I transferred to UNT.
Denton, huh?
Yeah. But go Eagles.
Yeah.
I dated someone back home. Me and my high school sweetheart broke up, and I had a long distance situation my whole first year because, I'm a relationship girl. Had a whole situation, didn't work out. I was like, cool, now I'm going to move to Texas.
So how, because it's, long-term relationships, that's work. Oh my God.
Yeah, it is.
How did you keep that going?
At 18, 19, that was hard.
This was before cell phones too, right?
Before FaceTime.
Cell phones? We're like the same age.
Are we?
I'm like 2 years older than you. No.
Well,
Facebook
like
was popping then.
I see.
I don't know if y'all remember
I
Black
looked
Planet.
down on
Black
it.
Planet was hot.
Yes.
I was in high school.
Yeah.
But phone calls and texts and
That's rough.
But were they still like 10 cents at that time? Because I remember like I couldn't text all the time. Because they were like
nights and
10 cents.
weekends.
I didn't have that. I had free nights and weekends, like phone calls, but not text messages.
I don't remember texts. I don't know if it was free or not.
I remember having to pay because I'd be like, okay, I can't send any more texts. You have to call me now.
I mean, we kept in touch that way, and I was so focused on school that I wasn't, and I probably should have been out there dating, and I was just focused on school. So, and he would come visit often, so we kind of kept it going.
How
that
did
way.
you two meet?
We worked together back when I was in high school, so it was kind of one of those like, hey, I'm single. Hi. Hey,
Was he
BK.
someone that was like chasing after you while you were still with the other guy?
Yeah.
What's that reaction?
But I think, and I can admit, I probably shouldn't admit that, but
Go ahead.
I think it was a rebound. When you're in this situation for like the majority of your high school relationship,
And he's giving you like enough attention.
Right.
He's
And
probably more invested than you are.
so he got a good year out of me, long distance.
Did the other guy know that you were dating him?
I don't know, but yeah. So the girl that he moved on to, he like married her.
Your first ex?
The high school sweetheart.
Oh.
Yeah, he like married her.
Oh, so you married like what technically would have
rebound.
been his rebound. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't marry my rebound, no. But that's okay.
But you guys stayed
Yeah.
together for a year. I mean, that's a lot of time,
Yeah.
right? And maybe, back then, well, that wasn't a long time ago,
Right.
but were you on dating apps at that time?
No. I don't even really think
I don't even think they were dating.
Well,
I think you had
come
like the rating websites. That was about it. Where you like have to rate each other. You guys
eHarmony, come on. Dave.
No, because I felt like eHarmony was like for older people. It wasn't for me.
Oh, it was for everybody.
It didn't feel that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was that old guy like doing the commercial, and
It
you're like,
wasn't
Yeah, the
marketed
founder.
towards
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it was marketed towards like people in their who are now 30s and their 40s at us.
Right.
yeah,
No,
I'm gonna take a drink now.
yeah. But I think when you take the dating apps away, it makes it simpler to find somebody.
For sure.
I think because once you're on the dating app, and I'm sure you've seen this, there's like so many options, and so you don't know who to choose sometimes. But whereas in the past we used to meet people through like friends or high school,
Someone you
or
worked with.
church, or whatever it is. So did you love him, the rebound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I
so
did.
Did you say it first?
19-year-old. But see, here's the thing. 19-year-old love is different than early 30s love. I'm at a different place. So I think that 19-year-old me, yeah, I think I did love him as much as a 19-year-old young woman could, right?
Yeah.
Who said it first? He definitely said it first.
We just had this conversation last week where we talked about how as women, like, we wait for the guy to say I love you first because of like our fear of if we say it first, it's sort of going to make him like run away. Yeah. So we wait on them to say it.
It's almost that fear of rejection, like subconsciously
For sure.
a fear of rejection. I don't think I've ever consciously been like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that I love him yet. I think that just through the process, that's kind of how it's been. Because you don't want to overwhelm the guy with all these emotions and like spill all that out on him, and then he doesn't know what to do with it. But yeah, I think he definitely said it first back then.
Good. So after that relationship,
is this an inventory?
what happened? What happened after that?
Okay, that relationship ended, and then I moved again. Apparently, I move a lot.
Yeah.
I moved to Texas. And I started college here. And then I met a person, and we were together for lies. That's not how that happened. My high school sweetheart and I got back together for like a year.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Wait. So he broke up with the other girl? For you?
We got back together, then we broke up.
And then he married her?
Yep. Men.
Oh.
Yep. So it was a lot of, that's kind of why I'm like 99.9% like, don't go backwards. But then I'm like,
he could, oh my, he could totally be the person that like maybe if it hadn't been done,
just makes me so
could have been, yes. Well, at least,
Yeah, but.
Did he get married on your birthday? Because
No.
someone got married on my birthday, so.
Jerks. Nope. Dated, tried it again, the long distance thing. Long distance just does not work for me. And then I met someone else, and we were together for about 7 years. A very long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a long-term relationship. I was with somebody for 7 years, lived with them, and I had to. After that, I was like in therapy for like 2 years. I'm still in therapy, but still, it's just a lot to get over, right? So now you're single.
Yes. Very much so.
Which was so funny. So we had talked about this last week. And I was like, because we were like at a meeting and we were talking about how she was dating someone, and we're about to get into it. And so we were like discussing about bringing them around the holidays. When is it okay to introduce? And I was like, oh my gosh, no, so let's have this conversation on the podcast instead, because it's going to be great. And then she texted me this past week and was like, hey, what app are you using? And me, like, not like feeling, it was yesterday, me feeling like overwhelmed at work, just kind of responded and then didn't think twice about it until right now, because you are single.
Very much so.
Oh, so what happened?
It did not work. Communication is like the death of relationships. If you cannot communicate, and I don't know, part of me is like, maybe it's because I'm a therapist by trade and I expect a high level of emotional maturity and communication, but that's just being a person. That's just being a good person.
Maybe.
So what was lacking?
Communication.
Right, but like what specific things?
Initiation. I think, looking back in hindsight, I initiated more. But when I'm dating, I'm a Gemini. Let's put that out there.
Me too. Yes. Oh yeah, that's right, because we both have June birthdays. Yes, that's right. Yes.
So the way I am, either I like you or I don't. And if I like you, you're going to know I like you. And I'm not afraid to pursue, but I'm not like overly clingy, like, hey, because I have a lot of stuff going on. I got kids, I got like jobs, I got stuff. But I found myself being like, hey, I have time on this date. Do you want to hang out? Or, hey, do you want to do dinner on Friday? Because I'm just like, if I'm thinking about you, like, hey, do you want to do this? But it wasn't reciprocated. But he wasn't denying it either.
But that's probably just who he was. He's just not the take initiative type guy.
At some point, though, you do have to take the initiative. Like, it does have to be like a two-way street.
You should.
Right.
But most guys, I don't think they don't take enough initiative. I think
Right.
some do, but
Right.
I'm really into that whole attachment style thing. Do you know
Oh, gosh.
Do you know your attachment style?
I don't know.
Secure.
You had me do something. That was the Enneagram.
It was the
Yeah.
Enneagram.
But anyways, maybe it's...
Yeah.
What was your number?
I don't remember now.
Was it a 7? Were you a 7 or a 9?
Remember. We'll look. We'll figure it out. I don't know, but I know that he would always agree, and he was like, "Cool, yeah, let's do that." But then there was a couple times where he'd flake out at the last minute, and I was like, "Okay, he has a job and he has kids and stuff happens. I don't trip because I know like I have my own things too, so things come up, but." When you don't take accountability for those things, and then when you are lacking in the communication area, that's a red flag.
So all of these things were just kind of building out.
And yeah, so he is no more.
So in retrospect,
Yeah.
what was kind of your idea of bringing him around the family around the holidays?
So here's my thing. My love language is quality time. My primary is quality time. I do not have family. I have a cousin that lives out here, but I don't have family in Texas. So I'm really big on like family and friends and like togetherness. So Guy, whose name rhymes with Carol, shade, he was like, he's like, we're together, we're exclusive. And I was like, cool. But then I was like, hey, there's like a couple holidays coming up. I want to make sure like we balance time with like family and kids and responsibilities.
Right.
But also like make sure that we get time together. Like, can we just kind of like keep that in our mind? Because I'm a little too assertive. I don't know. But he was like, yeah, sure. So my thing wasn't like, I'm going to bring him around the family. But it was more like I have friends who do Friendsgiving. So for me, that's an option. That would have been an option. I think had I had family out here, he hadn't met my kids. I hadn't met his kids. So I think that it was too new to bring around the family. Right. But I think that if you say you're in a relationship, let's plan something out where we can still get some meaningful time together around the holidays. Because I think holidays for some people, or at least for me, you think of family. Right. And if we're together, then why don't we spend time around those, those holidays? So that was kind of where I was thinking. But yeah, so now I'll be riding solo to the Friendsgiving.
So do you, so let's say someone was going with you to the Friendsgiving. Do you prep them and say, oh, she acts like this or he acts like that? Or maybe don't bring this up because I told you about that. Or do you just kind of let them go in and just kind of...
To the lion's den.
Lion's den.
Yep. Yep. Feed you to the... Yeah, but at the same time, unfortunately, I have way too many counselor friends. So I need like some musician friends. I need like different types of friends in different fields. So they wouldn't go as hard as if maybe it was my family. Like I have a cousin who's like a sister, and she probably would be like, so, blah, 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 blah. And I'd be like, what are you doing? That's awkward. Yeah. But I think my friends...
What's your 3-year plan? What's your 5-year plan?
What's your job?
Right. Yeah. Right. When you're not going to meet each other's kids. Like she would have been like all in the business. But my friends, I think, would have been like really welcoming because I have a really good group of friends who want me to be happy and they want, like, I need that work-life balance. I need to have a good social life and things like that. So they would have just been real supportive. But no, I wouldn't have prepped them, whatever they came with.
Do you feel like there's a risk to taking the guy to the event? Yeah. Like, for example, maybe he doesn't...
With a bunch of therapists?
Maybe he doesn't like... Well, maybe the therapists scare him away. Or maybe he doesn't perform well in front of your friends and family. Or there's a risk there, I think, that could make or break a relationship. I think if it happens too early, it could make or break it. right?
Yeah.
See, I would not. So if I were to start dating someone, like even at the beginning of October, they would not be around my family until like after January, because I know that my family, I might bring them around my sister.
Okay.
Like to gentle, like ease them in, but I'd have to be like, you need to be nice, kind of thing.
That's where I was going with that question, because I know Emma would probably like probe that and say, "Hey, don't do this, don't do that." Right?
To my sister, and possibly like, well, now that my best friend's gone in San Diego, like Zorric might be the next person, but then I would probably like have them meet my sister first before Zorric, because I feel like she would be nice if I asked her to be. He would not.
Okay.
I would just ask some deep questions.
He would try to be a therapist. I'd be like, you're not a therapist. Stop.
I would ask him how many sexual partners he's had. Like
Make it real uncomfortable.
Yeah, I would. But just to bust his balls to see, because Emma, we want the best for Emma. We don't want no.
And I appreciate
Joe
that,
Schmo.
but just don't like embarrass me.
I'm not embarrassing you. It's him I'm embarrassing.
And then through like secondhand embarrassment, me.
Yeah, I get you. Okay, so is there a timeline or some checklist on when it's appropriate to bring this person over?
Because there are people right now, we do have some listeners that are probably in relationships and they're looking for that answer that they don't know.
They're thinking right this moment.
Yes, that they're
should
like,
they take it to Friendsgiving or not?
or the Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Around the
Right.
family. So I can speak from the if you have kids perspective. So as a single mom, I have to also think if you're coming around my family, my kids are probably going to be there most likely. So if you've never met my children, I'm most likely not going to bring you around the family Thanksgiving or the family Christmas dinner.
So that's the first step.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you need to meet the kids, but I feel like we need to have a conversation again. We need to communicate. What are we? Do we go together first?
Oh, big one.
So I think a lot of people, and this is what stresses me out about dating now, all these different levels. Like, are we talking? Are we dating? Are we exclusive? Are we sexually exclusive? That's too many different. Do we go together? Are we?
You know what, though? I feel like all that crap was created by the opposite gender from us that are like so ambivalent about all this crap. And they're like, this is their way of getting around a bunch of it.
Yeah.
And we just go along with it because we're idiots that are like trying to freaking appease them. Gosh.
First of all, we're not all like that. And second,
Did I say the majority?
I don't remember.
Well, the majority.
Yeah.
Most.
Yeah, and a lot of us are indecisive, and we just don't know. That's our issue. That's all I got. That's
Y'all are idiots.
I don't have an
Y'all are idiots.
I don't have an answer.
And
to
then
that one.
I worry about becoming too being too quote forceful, too straightforward, and then I get told like maybe you should back off, and it's like, well, then I'm just appeasing the person again. So like, where do I find that balance?
Right.
It's hard.
I can't walk on eggshells around you.
Right, because it's really hard work, and I want to throw them at you. That's what I want to do.
So how do you have that conversation if we're together? Like when do you bring that up? Because because sometimes you don't want to rock the boat.
Sure.
Yeah, you guys are dating for a couple months, and all of a sudden you feel this thing like, I need to know what's going on, or else we need to cut it off. But how do you approach that person?
I bring it up. I'm so direct. And I would just ask them, like, so what are we doing? Because I think, so being on dating sites, and I've done that before, and I've gotten off because they're stupid, and then I'll get back on because I'm bored. I'm very upfront. Like, listen, I am not looking for anything casual.
So
I am not.
If we're at a bar, you and I,
He loves role playing.
it's a
I'm
very
sorry.
classy bar. Let's say this is in
Are y'all at 60 Vines?
60 Vines, and we just got a glass of red wine, and it's on your mind right now. And I'm just gazing at the jazz players. And how do you bring it up right now? As you take a big swig. First of all,
I would literally, I would sip my wine, and I would probably say, so, we've been talking for a while, and I'm wondering, where is this going? Where do you see this going? What are we doing?
I think I'm okay, just how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's that like? Are we exclusive? Are we together?
We've only been together for a month, so I think we should just keep dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not exclusive.
Not right now. No.
Okay, good. So then you're good if I go on other dates and stuff, right? Too.
No.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because you invited me to your Friendsgiving, and I want to go to that still.
Yeah, I mean, you can go. You could be my +1.
Can I? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, like, I'll still date, and then you can still date, and then when you figure out what you want, you can let me know. Because I want a relationship.
Oh, okay.
I don't want anything casual.
See, that was easy.
Beautiful, Lilliesha.
Because for me, just tell me. Because
Yeah.
I'd rather you give me the choice to stay or leave.
Yeah.
So if you tell me, like, I like what we're doing, I don't want anything serious. Give me that option of, like, I can either stay and be like, cool, or I can be like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm good. But give me that choice. Don't take that away from me. So I'm always upfront. Like, when we first start messaging each other, before we get to the fancy restaurant, you're going to already know she wants a relationship and she's not looking for casual sex or dating.
But the first meeting or two, the guy's typically already been on a couple of dates. There's kind of juggling. And women too, right? You probably have been on a couple of dates too. So the difficulty there, I think, is first of all, you did great at like talking to me and asking me that
I
question.
never
Really?
put up with it.
Because whenever someone asks me that question, I'm like, ugh, like, what do I do?
Now he's gonna start copying you.
Yeah, exactly, verbatim. But it is good to have clarity.
Yes.
Because I tell people just to keep dating until they have that conversation, dating other people, right? Or you don't do that. You just stick to one person first, and you just.
So in the past, yes, I've dated multiple people, but that's exhausting for me. I don't have enough time in my day to tell 4 different men how my day went, to tell 4 different people that I love Mexican food and I love
just
margaritas.
copy and paste.
I'm like, listen, I got to get these kids in bed by 8. What are we doing? What do you want? I'm at the point in my life where it's like, we're going to date with intention. Because I'm not looking for anything casual.
Yeah. So you're saying that they know already what you want. So that's in the actual Tinder or Hinge or conversation. Do you exchange numbers after that? Or
So here's the problem. This is how this has bitten me in the past. It's very clear. It's in my profile. Not looking for casual, seeking relationship, dating, all that stuff. And then I think men are like, okay, yeah, me too. But it's like, there are women who want casual whatever and will just date you and date everyone else and like use you for dinner. There's women out there who will meet what you're looking for, but they want to say the right things. So like, yeah, I want a relationship too. Cool. So then we exchange numbers or we'll start texting, and then eventually they're like, oh, but I'm not ready. Like, not right now.
yeah.
Well, you didn't read that?
No, I think most men do not read that, first of all. And second, we'll say anything to get you out and at dinner. Because it's so hard for us to even get a woman out to dinner. Emma knows my struggles.
Like, now you're wasting my time. But thanks for the dinner and the pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I guess at the first date, which is great. From when they hit that first date, you're up front. They know everything. And so how are your first dates typically? Do you get like very nervous? Do you
I'm so apathetic now, and it's really sad because it is really sad.
Well, I laugh because I will like get a meme every once in a while from Lilliesha. Or it's just like, yep.
Dating sucks. Normally first dates are good. And subsequent dates are good, and I'll make time. But then once you have those conversations, I'm really direct. Once you have those direct conversations of like, what do you really want? A lot of men can't answer that. And they're just like,
It depends on the age. Like which age groups are you,
I typically early 30s to early 40s. So I will go up to almost 10 years older than myself.
Yeah, same here.
And since I have kids, sometimes I prefer men who do have kids.
Yeah.
But they're still ridiculous. And I've met plenty of them who were like, oh, I just got divorced like 6 months. Why are you on here? Go heal yourself and leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So what have you experienced as far as guys asking you out to dinner? Like,
Oh my God.
like what have they been saying? Like, hey, let's hang out, or do they plan the date? Because I feel like some women complain to
pull
me.
up receipts on this.
Yeah.
So,
Do you need more wine?
so the really good ones the ones that have been semi-successful, here's some free game out there, I guess, they would have a conversation with me first before they jump to, hey, let's go out.
On the phone or like?
So we will converse via like the little messenger on the app. And if that's going well, versus if it's like, hey, how's your day going? Good. Okay. So what do you have planned? You know, if I'm making conversation and I'm the only one initiating this, I have an issue if you can't keep the conversation going. But if we're good and we're conversing and then we decide to move off the app and we're texting or talking on the phone, I've met a lot of men who are like, I don't talk on the phone.
Oh, I hate that.
And I'm like, how do you get to know someone?
Because it's like, aren't you like a millennial?
Right.
Like, do you
What's
not
wrong with you?
remember doing this before?
That's what happened with Rhymed with Carol. He was like, I'm not good with like phone calls and texts. How's this going to work?
How do you communicate?
Yeah.
First of all, so
Yellow
the good,
flag.
so the good
Although,
ones.
just like this one loves to talk on the phone, but he always calls like during like when I'm doing something or like watching Dancing with the Stars, and I'm just like,
She doesn't talk.
Get off
to
the
me.
phone. Get off the phone. Because you're calling me during an unfortunate time, but then you get mad if I hang up on you. Don't call me while Dancing with the Stars is on.
Okay, fine.
And I won't call you while the Cowboys are on.
We'll take a sidebar on that one. We'll talk about it later. So the good ones communicate well.
Yes.
So that's what you're looking for. Again, a common theme is like communication.
Yes.
And so for you, communicating well is like being able to reciprocate the conversation with you.
Yes.
Okay.
And they can keep it going and they go outside of the typical, how was your day? The typical basic questions. They actually take an interest. So then you have to be able to also replicate that outside of this app. Have a person,
for sure.
like, you know, and if you tell me like, I'm not good at talking on the phone or texting, well, how old are you? Why? You don't talk to people for work?
Yeah. Do you find people different on like the texting versus in person?
Sometimes. And that's really weird because I'm like, you were very chatty and now in person.
Wait, they were witty
in text,
and
right?
jokes
Yeah.
and
Yes.
emojis and very, you
That's
know.
safer. It's less vulnerable.
It
Because then when
is.
you
Yes.
meet them, then they're all awkward. I can't know.
And I always wonder like where that comes from. Or like the idea that like I'm not so good about like texting or calling the phone, and it's like, but like yes, you are around people, so like I don't know. I always try to think like where's that disconnect, and I like I don't know.
It's weird.
So do you find yourself leading that conversation then, since communication is like your thing?
Sometimes, and I don't like to though. So I like to kind of sit back. Like I want a partner who can initiate conversation and who isn't afraid of that, because it's just weird. It's weird. So I think in the beginning, I'm on Bumble, so of course I have to initiate.
Yeah.
But if you can't, reciprocate that and you can't keep it going as well, then I'm just not going to respond.
Yeah. And that's really difficult too sometimes whenever I think anything where it's like a new experience, a new person, there's always that dead air. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, I should say something.
No, but you shouldn't.
Yeah.
It should be natural.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think you are going to get dead air no matter what. Like, you're going to get that uncomfortable silence. And what I appreciate is, like, when you allow just the uncomfortable silence to sit for a little bit. Because to me, it shows me that you're comfortable with it and that you're okay when this happens versus, like, feeling like you have to fill it up.
Right. And I'm quick to FaceTime. So, like,
yeah?
if you got the blue bubbles that pop up, we're going to FaceTime. Because
Watch out.
I need to make sure that you look like those pictures before I agree.
Have you had any like bad date or catfishing experiences or something like that?
I had a guy. I have a lot of bad dates. But,
All right, let's start.
Well, I think there was one in particular who he did not look like his pictures. So when I got to the bar, I'm
So you're
like
walking to the
looking,
bar, you're looking for him.
Yeah,
Let's
and I'm
see
like-
this play by play.
and I'm like, he's not here. He said he was here. So then I'm texting like, hey, where are you? And he's like, oh, I'm sitting at the bar. I have this on. And I'm like, no. Like, was that picture like 5 years ago?
Oh no.
And I like to just know what I'm getting into. Like, I have a type, but I don't have a type. But he didn't look like his pictures. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm here now. I'm committed.
Were you able to let it go, though?
No.
No.
So-
Because I think
Yeah.
the current him, I probably wouldn't have.
It's deceiving.
Yeah.
So when you're there, so I guess you moved next to him, or you saw him and you got close to him and you guys started the date.
Yeah.
How was that initial
It
conversation?
was just super awkward. Like, he
Yeah.
was like, hey, and how's it going? He's just like going. And I'm like, yeah. And I just felt super awkward because I was like, the whole point of the apps, because people don't read your profile, you're going off of their aesthetics. That's just what it is.
Everybody.
Yes.
It's all the looks. Come on.
It's going off of that, and then you get to know the person. And I was just kind of like, oh, okay.
But you kept
Yeah,
going. You're a
I
trooper.
stayed. Yeah, I stayed.
Did you try to make it work in your mind where you're
I
like,
did.
okay, let's make the best out of this time?
Yeah, I was like, he has a good personality. Like, on the phone. Let me see. It just didn't click for me.
So did you guys stay at the bar, or did you go into like sit down in a restaurant like area? No, no.
We stayed at the bar. That felt safer and less intimate. So we just like stayed there and had a couple drinks, and then we left. And I was just like, thanks. Have a great day.
Huh.
Have a great night. Bye.
Did he text you at the end of the
He
night?
did.
Okay.
And like afterwards, but I was just like, I don't know. And I used to have this issue where I would blame myself, where I'm like, I'm just not ready. I'm not. And I was just like, I didn't really feel like a connection.
Yeah.
Like, you're really great.
Did you mention like the whole?
No,
you didn't mention it.
that was awkward.
Yeah.
That was awkward.
Do you think like he
Picked
was
up on
aware? Yeah.
it. I don't know.
I think he
Probably.
knows. Like, guys know. We're not stupid. Like, we know when we're deceiving you
Yeah.
guys.
Yes.
It's on purpose.
The fact that I'm like, I don't see you.
Which don't give us crap for putting eyebrows on our faces.
So talk to us about a good date experience. So what should the guys like aspire to do?
What's
like
been your best?
Yeah,
date?
let's hear that.
Oh.
Oh no.
None? Is that zero?
None. Wow.
Because I think I'm struggling because subsequent dates and the whole situationship or whatever it was hasn't ended well. So it's like it scars the whole.
tainted,
Yeah,
yeah.
it taints
So
it.
think of the initial first date. Like
Okay.
once it went well, maybe walk us through how like scene by scene, like what happens there.
It was probably an active day. I love your music, by the way. It's setting the mood. So it was an active date. Like, I like active dates.
Yeah.
We're not going to go and sit at a fancy restaurant
Okay.
and just sit across from each other. We're going to go to Dave & Buster's or somewhere fun. I'm going to, like, beat you in basketball because
Yeah.
I'm competitive. But I also think that sets the guy's guard down where I can see him have fun.
Uh-huh.
I don't want you to be stuffy and
Uh-huh.
weird and awkward. I want to see you have fun.
So I can see you and some guys. So you guys meet it like in the front of David Buster's.
Or something.
Something
Or
like
main
that.
event, like playing
Yes.
laser tag.
Do you hug or do you shake hands?
I
or
hug.
You hug. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good move. So
My
you
second
hug.
love language is physical touch.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So you guys walk in Dave and Buster's and maybe you grab a drink, maybe.
Yeah.
And you start talking, and then who initiates going out to play basketball? Is it you or him or
Me.
both? You.
It's usually me, and
Yeah.
it's probably something that I've like trash talked prior. That like
Are you like really witty like during your
I
conversation?
am.
That's hard because for someone that's I try to be witty. It's hard when you're like talking to someone that you want to date, and you might piss somebody off or say something really raunchy. That's my problem. And then I don't send dick pics obviously, but
Good.
Praise
yeah.
the Lord.
But anyway, so a good day for you is like bowling or
Something
shooting.
active. Where I get to see his personality, versus him kind of being stiff and stuffy and saying what he thinks is the right thing. So where we get to just have fun, and we'll have a couple drinks, maybe get some food. And I think for me, that tests our chemistry in person because when I don't go to movies on first or second or third dates because we're not talking. Dinner, it's cool. I mean, I love to eat, but I kind of want to see your personality, how you are in public, what our chemistry is like.
Yeah.
So if I'm feeling him and if the chemistry is there,
Well, what do you talk about chemistry? What do you mean by that?
So I think on the phone we can have chemistry where like we can have a good back and forth conversation and it doesn't feel weird and it doesn't feel awkward and we can talk about just random different things.
Okay, so like verbal chemistry, like even on the date, verbal chemistry.
Yes, and it doesn't feel forced. But then also, I think there's that aspect of that physical chemistry too.
Yeah.
So there's that mutual attraction once you see each other. For me personally, by physical touch being my secondary love language, I'm touchy-feely. So you're going to know I like you because I'm going to probably be like flirty touching you and not like inappropriately, but like, you know, you'll know I might like grab your arm and have my arm through yours and we'll walk. And so you'll know if like we have that chemistry and I'm attracted to you. So, and it just kind of naturally evolves and it doesn't feel forced and it doesn't feel like, oh, what time is it? Let me go check with the sitter.
Yeah.
So I've had those where I'm like, oh, I got to go get my kids. Sorry.
So how does that date end? A good date end is with a kiss?
Do you kiss on
maybe?
the first date?
I don't. I have in the past, but I don't. I haven't.
That's like half of the population, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you wouldn't be opposed to it if it happened. If it was kind of natural, not forced, because if it's forced, it just doesn't work sometimes.
It's like,
Yeah, because then I'm like, oh.
But I feel like whenever you play games, you're playing basketball, there's like high fives, maybe there's like hugging going on,
Sure.
and it can kind of escalate into that kiss. I tell guys, just go for it. I don't care if you get denied. Just go for it. I mean, if she turns her cheek and she's not ready, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
At least you tried. But don't just like go in.
don't
for
take
like,
it personally
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I say. So that's a good date then. I think that's a good if someone's listening, like guys, like take somebody out to something physical, not just because I do the dinner dates and they do seem forced sometimes, and sometimes when there's no talking and just nothing in common, it's just kind of boring. Sometimes.
You're
Just
just
waiting on
drinking
the
your
check.
wine.
Yeah, I'm drinking my wine or drinking more, so I can be like more outgoing.
Yeah. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, can we get the check, please? And then it's awkward. Versus if we're doing something fun that we both have in common because we hopefully matched because we have things in common, that feels better. It's like, oh, well, you enjoy doing this and I enjoyed, like, I love sports. Like, I haven't been to like a sporting event on a first date, but like, let's go do something fun.
Yeah.
I want to see your personality.
Yeah.
So
Okay. What else can we learn here from what she said, Emma? There's so much.
It's so funny to like have like the opposite Gemini.
Opposite Gemini.
Yeah. Because I can be very passive sometimes when it comes to dating. But I think it's just because I'm just like, I don't want to put in the effort if you're not putting in the effort. So I'm going to give up. I'm going to give up before you do. So that way, like, it doesn't hurt my feelings.
sure. That's that part of me that when it gets to like, if I don't like you, then I'm just done and I don't care. But I'm so intentional. I think maybe more so now. I think before I had kids, it was kind of like, oh, yeah, whatever happens.
Yeah.
Just the phase of life that I'm in, I think.
I think because you
Yeah.
know what you want, right?
Yes.
You know, you're not here to play games.
Right.
You know.
But that scares some people, I think.
Oh, it does.
Some
It
men.
depends on how old and where they are in their career. Because a lot of us want to have these things accomplished first, and we never typically accomplish our goals and life dreams. It just happens.
Gosh, it got really sad.
Yeah.
Can I tell you about a bad date?
Oh
Yes.
my
Creepy
gosh!
date.
I want to hear it.
Yes.
Let's go.
So he was creepy. He was really creepy. I met him online, of course,
Yeah.
and it was over the summer. And I was having like a little girls' night, friends' night out in downtown Dallas. And I was like, hey, because I was with my friends. I'm like, this will be a cool, safe place to meet him if he wants to come and just hang out and have some drinks.
Where specifically was this?
Oh, gosh.
Was it like Deep Ellum? Was it Uptown? Or
It was
downtown?
near Deep Ellum, like
Yeah.
High Fives area over there.
Henderson area.
Yeah.
Beauty bar. That's a cool
Yes,
spot.
yes.
Cool spot. Yeah.
Playground.
Yeah, I guess.
Ish.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Anyway, so we were out there and I was like, hey, if you want to come out and have some drinks, like, cool, you can come meet us. And he's like, oh, I'm going to hang out with my friend in Deep Ellum. And I'm like, bring your friend. It's fine.
Oh.
We're having drinks. It's my birthday. And he was like, okay, cool. Then he texted and he was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm going to go home. So I'm like, that's weird.
Okay,
Cool, bye. And then he was like texting, like, well, are you still there? And I'm like, well, what difference does it make? So my friend was like, there's this like guy that's like staring at us, right? So the whole before that, we're all like bothered because we're like, that was rude and weird and a waste of time. But don't worry about him. We'll go meet some other guys. We're gonna keep going out. And she was like, there's this guy that's like looking at us. It's weird. And I was like, who? Whatever. And I'm just drinking and eating. And then he texts me and he's like, is that you over there with like da-da-da on? And I was like, so he thought it was cute to surprise me. That's weird.
That's creepy.
We never met in person.
No.
And you said that like, I'm not coming. And then you're like, oh, but I'm here by myself. So now my friends are like, okay. Hi.
But was he cute?
He was okay.
No.
So it was like weird. He didn't like his pictures either.
Oh.
So he was
no.
like, but then he didn't stay. He was like, I just wanted to come say hi. Why are you doing all of this just to say hi? So then he left and I was like, okay. And then we were leaving and he was still like outside. So we're like, are you waiting for us? Are you watching us? It was just weird. It felt like he was following us. And I just never called him again. I was like, I don't have time for games.
Yeah,
that was weird.
That
is very weird. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It was creepy.
Well, because you said that you were with some friends, right?
Yes.
It was your birthday. So maybe he was a little intimidated by the group.
Sure.
Maybe.
He should have said no.
He should have
I
said
agree.
no. And like Taylor Swift said, he should have gone home.
Because it's like you said, you're going to Deep Ellum with your friends. So I'm like, bring your friends with you. We're going to have drinks. We're going to go out and have fun. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, no, I'm not coming.
Because then that just makes you look very stalker-ish.
Yes. That's how we felt.
Yeah.
It was weird. Block and delete.
Don't like it.
So do you have any potentials right now?
Nope.
Any dates lined up?
Nope.
No, just still browsing.
Still browsing. Still swiping.
Mm-hmm.
Probably get off next weekend.
How often are you on the apps? Are you on...
So literally, I have a love-hate relationship. If I get bored, then I'll reactivate a profile and get back on. I just got back on, like, what was it, yesterday?
Yesterday, yep.
And I was like, I don't feel like doing that one. Let me just get back on what I know. But the whole process is what's hard. That's what's draining for me.
Yeah.
So,
but make sure not to blame the app because it's not the app, it's the guys.
Yes.
It's us that are
It
the
is,
problem.
y'all.
it is.
The app is doing its thing. It's like letting you meet a bunch of people and letting you interface with a bunch of people. But it's just the guys that we meet or you meet that it's just, and gals too. I mean, it's a lot of people just still, women too. Some don't know what they want to.
Sure.
And, I've been on those dates too where I think it's an amazing date. We're having a great time, and all of a sudden, like crickets after the date.
Right.
So it's a crapshoot. That's all I can say.
It's a lot.
So people that are single, and our listeners are our age-ish, what would you kind of tell them as far as like a dating tips or advice? Let's say for a single parent like yourself.
Yes.
Maybe any recommendations.
Yeah.
Know what you want and communicate that. And set your limits and your boundaries. Know what's okay. Know what's not okay. And don't accept less. You know, I think it's harder to date when you have kids. Sometimes, such as a single parent, we have less spontaneity. So you can't just call me on Tuesday and be like, hey, you want to go out tonight? No, I don't have a sitter. And date someone who respects that. Date someone who respects that you have responsibilities and who seeks to maximize your time. So if I tell you, hey, my kids are gone every other weekend, then that's your cue to be like, hey, do you want to go out, next weekend? Because I know you said your kids are going to be gone. You want to date with someone who can communicate with you. That communication piece is just huge.
Someone more proactive, right? Yes. That respects your time.
Yes.
And wants to, again, maximize everything you do.
Yeah.
What are some things that we shouldn't do as single people?
All the things.
Don't rush into it.
Oh, that's a good one.
Let it unfold naturally. I think sometimes, and I've been guilty of this, almost feel like you're forcing it. Like with name rhymes with Carol. Like that was a whole thing.
Thanks for listening to the Date Podcast. Please subscribe and review if you liked what you hear. Send us an email at hello@datepodcast.com for any questions, comments, or show topics you'd like for us to discuss. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Most importantly, tell your friends about our show.